Welcome to today's vlog. As always, thanks so much for joining me. And in a sense, today's vlog follows on a little bit from the last one that I did, which was all about the culture of complaining and moaning that seems to be infiltrating and categorizing our society today. So today is a bit of the opposite, really. And the first thing I want to show you is this mug that's on my in my study, and it has the colour of the rainbow, and it says gratitude is my attitude. So there's a challenge. Are we known as someone who is thankful for what we have? Because the truth is that even in the toughest of times, there's always things to give thanks for. And then I want to read to you a passage from a book which I've mentioned before, Choose Life by Simon Guillebaud. It's a book of daily readings. Really would recommend it. It's both challenging and inspiring. And the title of the passage or the devotion for the day that I want to read to you, it's from last August actually. It's Keep Hope or Lose Courage. And it mentions the verse in James where James talks or encourages his readers to, he says, consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kind, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So the Bible is very clear that even if we put our whole trust in God, in Jesus, then that doesn't mean that everything's going to be plain sailing in a bed of roses. No, it means that sometimes we're going to face the hard times like everybody does. But the question is, how do we respond? And Simon Guillebaud talks about a hymn writer, the writer of the hymn that is quite well known, Now Thank We All Our God. It was written by someone called Martin Rinkart in the early 1600s, so it's an old hymn, but still quite popular in many churches. Apparently, Martin Rinkart was a Lutheran pastor in the town of Eilenburg in Saxony during Germany's 30 Years' War. Eilenburg was a walled city, so it became a haven for refugees seeking safety from the fighting. But tragically, because of overcrowding and food scarcity, a plague and a famine decimated those who were gathered in the city for safety. So much so that Eilenburg became almost like a giant morgue. In 1 year alone, apparently, Pastor Rinkart conducted funerals for 4,500 people. That's in 1 year. And that included the funeral of his own wife. But the war dragged on, and yet through it all, somehow he never lost courage or faith. He kept hanging on to the hope that was in Christ. And it was during the darkest days of all that tragic circumstance that he was able to write this famous hymn. Now thank we all our God with hearts and hands and voices, who wondrous things hath done, in whom the world rejoices. Keep us in his grace, and guide us when perplexed, and free us from all ills in this world and the next. And Simon Guillebaud comments, it's remarkable that Rinkart kept focused on God's promises of heaven, even when going through what could be called a living hell. He kept pouring out God's love in a world filled with hate. He kept lifting his sights to a higher plane, although buried deep in destruction. He was able to cling to hope in the pits of despair. And then Guillebaud asks, can we do the same? So can we, even in the most trying, the most tragic, the most difficult, the darkest times, can we still cling onto that hope? Can we still give thanks to God? Can we still hang on to the God who loves us and has promised to be with us always? That's a really challenging thought from a man who lived through such terrible tragedy and yet was able to write that wonderful hymn. Now thank we all our God with hearts and hands and voices. May we all be able to do the same and thank God in every circumstance, to show his love whatever may face us. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening today.